Hey guys, it's Aman
and Christina from Our Rich Journey. In this video, we're going to be talking about investing in condominiums. Now, if you've seen our videos in the past, you know that we are real estate investors and that our very first property that we invested in was a condo. Now, there are pros and cons associated with condos, and I think it's a very easy way to get started in investing in property, but there are certain things that you need to be aware of. So in this video, we're going to talk about 11 things that you should be aware of before you decide to invest in a condo. So the first thing to understand is that when you're investing in a condo, you're investing in a property that's run by an HOA. And the HOA consists of members that are sometimes investors, but a lot of times they're also property owners that live in the properties. So the HOA goals may not always align with your goals as an investor.
We bring this up because there will be several situations where you are at odds with the HOA. Now, as an investor, you are making decisions based off of what is going to give you the best payback. But the homeowners, they are also living there. And so their decision-making process is going to be a lot different than yours. And number two is the HOA rules can destroy your investment strategy. Now, you may have purchased your condo with a certain set of rules already in place, but the HOA can come along at any time and change those rules. They can say, starting tomorrow, we no longer want renters in this house or in this condominium, or we no longer want you to be able to Airbnb your condo. They have that ability to change the rules of how your condo is used. And number three is deferred maintenance can result in big ticket costs. So let's say you buy into this condo and everyone else from the previous years that owned the condo decided not to make those repairs. But since you bought into it, now it's time to make those repairs. Those repairs are needed more than ever. And that has happened to us on several occasions where people have put off repairing an elevator. And then all of a sudden, when you're owning the place, you have to pay for that new elevator.
And number four is that the financial well-being of the property that you're investing in is completely dependent on other owners. So if other owners aren't paying their HOA fees, for example, this is impacting the financial well-being of the property.
And this really comes into play when you go to refinance your property or you go to sell your property. The bank is going to look at the financial statements of your HOA. And if they find that most of the owners or some of the owners are not paying their fair share, it is going to definitely impact the sale of your home. And number five is HOA fees will go up. Now, as an investor, you usually try to predict what your expenses will be, but HOAs can really be an unknown expense.
Now, the problem with this is that when HOA increases by 10, 20, 30, even 100%, sometimes your rent, or a lot of times your rent, can't keep in line with that increase in your HOA fees. So you're taking a harder hit at your bottom line when HOA fees go up. And number six is that lenders typically look at the owner occupancy rate of condos in determining whether or not they're going to issue a mortgage to someone.
So the owner occupancy rate or ratio is how many owners to renters live in the condominium. And if there ends up being too many renters in your condominium, you will have a hard time reselling your condo.
And number seven, if you're comparing single family homes to condominiums, condominiums are typically the first to drop in price compared to single family homes, and they typically also take longer to recover in terms of price compared to single family homes.
And number eight is you have limited control of the type of renovations you can do with your condo. Now, this is a pet peeve of ours because we love to do our own DIY renovations. And every time we've done it in a condo, we've had to get approval on what we were doing, when we were going to do it, how long it was going to take. It was a long, arduous process. Now, as opposed to when we were doing renovations on our home, it was very easy. We had complete control over what we were going to do to our home. And number nine are disputes between neighbors. And we've had this come up a couple times in our condos where our renter has had a problem with another person in the building and they've called us in to deal with the issue. Now, this could be something that's a social issue, or it could even be something like noise, it could be damage. Just the prevalence of these types of issues, they're more prominent in condos. There are also a lot of disputes that arise because of physical, mechanical, structural issues that are involved with owning a condo. Let's say, for example, you have a condo that's on the first floor. If your sink backs up on the first floor, it could flood everyone else's sink on all of the floors above. Now, whose fault is that? It's things like that that you have to deal with when you own a condo that you don't have to deal with when you own a house.
And number 10 is that there's typically a surplus of competition. Condos aren't necessarily unique. Your condo is going to be competing against other condos and other property types that may be newer or have other amenities. In addition to that, condo renters typically aspire to be their own property owners, so they tend to move out of the units faster.
And number 11 is that condos are not very flexible as far as anything else to do with them. They are always going to be a condo, and you can only rent them out to residents, or you can live in it yourself. But the thing is, with the condo, you can't expand on them. You can't tear them down and use the land for something else. You just own that piece of air. So the inflexibility of condos, I think, is a big drawback. So we hope we didn't turn you guys off from investing in condominiums. We wanted to give you these points just so that you go into it with your eyes wide open. Because investing in condos, even though a condo seems to be a very simple piece of property, it's actually more complicated. So just keep these things in mind. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.